ubiquitous news regarding Hurricane Ian. I hope these questions are easy to speak about, so we may go through as many as possible. And as I ask a question and call your name, please storm the stage and regale us with your experience of Hurricane Ian. Were you affected more by the wind or the rain? Toastmaster Nico.
And begin clapping. So the storms in Florida are kind of interesting because the longer you're here, the less provisions you buy. Alcohol. Me personally, I had to stack it up before the storm. Ubiquitous amounts of alcohol. Just here. As far as being impacted by the wind or the rain, this year was absolutely the rain. I was going through this emotional roller coaster of, what will happen next? Is my pool screen going to blow away? Am I going to go, months without a pool screen because no one's going to be around to repair it or install it? I woke up at 4 in the morning to water the golf course behind me, coming up to the plants that were the last line of defense. It was a berm, the last line of defense before coming into my house. And I figured there's nothing I can do about it. I went to sleep, hoping I wouldn't step into a puddle of water. Thank you, Toastmasters.
How would you tell others to prepare for Hurricane Ian? Toastmaster Laura Hoffman.
Good morning, Toastmasters.
Good morning.
I actually don't know how I would tell other people to prepare for Hurricane Ian, but I would tell a different story of what happened to me the other night. I was driving home from Belly Dance, and I drive a white cargo van. All of a sudden, I make a right turn on green, and I get pulled over. And I haven't been pulled over in over 15 years. Like, what did I do? So I pull into a parking lot, the cop gets out, and asks me, is there anyone else in your vehicle? I'm like, no, why? He's like, can I check your back? I'm like, sure. So he opens up the back door, shines the flashlight in, and then tells me that there had been a kidnapping in the area, and he wanted to check my vehicle. So I had to take a minute to calm down after that, because I was like, what just happened? And I realized that white vans are not as ubiquitous in our area as they usually are.
What would you do differently to prepare for Hurricane Ian? Toastmaster Kimberly Yost.
I would not do anything differently on Hurricane Ian. I came back from a trip on the West Coast, and I came back and I saw ubiquitous news about Ian. And I think, okay, what do I do? Well, I'm not a Floridian. I'm not very experienced preparing for hurricane, but I know something because I experienced Hurricane Matthew and Irma. So I have a little bit of experience, and therefore I started stocking up food and water and clean up the backyard, moving things inside. And then I was talking with friends, they're checking in with each other. And then the worst case is the wind. The wind is kind of blowing in the middle of the night. It's kind of scary. But fortunately, the wind also calmed me down, so I have a wonderful sleep.
Emotional eating. Did that happen this past week? Toastmaster Miller.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Emotional eating did not happen in my house. Emotional drinking did not either. Not this hurricane. I am a Floridian, born and raised all my life from Plantation, Florida. And when I was young, hurricanes were quite the norm. So we would go out on a day when it was flooded. We were home from school, and we would take a boat and go in the street and just make a day of it. So hurricanes, where I come from, are fun. I embrace them. I love storms. I live in the back of a lake, and the lake came up in our path. It was awesome to see that, and it was awesome to see listings that I have on lakes and incredible things that were on those lakes and everything that had washed ashore and everything that washed out to shore. So hurricanes to me are amazing, and being a Florida girl, I welcome them.
I'm going to go out on a limb and ask James Riggs if he had any tree damage.
Adam, Table Topics Master, thank you for that going out on a limb portion. I have just under 3 acres of property on my home. The majority of it is undeveloped. I was wise enough to cut the trees all around my house so the house was fine. But as I walked through the woods, if you will, I found trees that were knocked over and blown on top of each other. So there was a considerable amount of damage. That just means I have firewood for the winter. Thank you so much.
Power or no power? Did you lose power? Toastmaster Shannon Lee.
Figure.
Sorry. My mistake.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. Just got back from Kansas, well, the other day. Yeah. The storm was a lot of fun. I did lose power at 9 o'clock in the evening after drinking quite a bit. But I woke up the next morning to my dad, who is 83, calling me on the phone, wanting me to come and crank his generator. He needed his oxygen. Couldn't get out of the house because we're not allowed. I jumped in the truck. I do have the big truck out there with the 7-inch lift. And I drove around. I do have pictures on my Facebook. If you're on my Facebook, you will see me driving through downtown, thank you, down Robinson. The whole water was probably 2 feet deep. It was before anybody got out there to tell me not to drive through it. I drove through Lake Cherokee and Lake Davis, which were one lake. The power was off everywhere, so I was not worried about any of the power bothering me or my truck. I had a fun time pulling out the inner redneck in me, and I would do it again. Thank you very much.
Are you a prepper? Do you prepare for, did you prepare for the hurricane? Toastmaster Sean Lee.
Well, I came to Florida in 2006, and I've experienced several hurricanes. Like the one that really hit my house is the Hurricane Laura. Like usually I don't prepare for the hurricane because I thought let it be. So we will face whatever it is. The only thing that we do is we bought several cases of water, so and some bread, so we can survive. But fortunately, I don't have a pool in my house, and I don't have the screen, and our house is relatively new, and there's a big pond beside my house, which will get which will accumulate all the rain from the road. So we were lucky. We have power in the house, and we don't have any, there's no tree falling down in our backyard. So I'm glad that I didn't prepare a lot, but I'm still fine.
How do you keep children active during a hurricane? Toastmaster Yvonne Liston.
Who here saw the ebook that I put out? Who here knows what I do?
I know.
I sue insurance companies on property damage claims.
Happy day, oh, happy day.
How did I stay active? I wrote that to eat. Oh, children?
Children active.
Children. Well, I am a child at this point. I wrote this ebook. Listen, there's crazy stuff going on right now. There are rumors that one of the big insurance companies in Fort Myers Beach is sending out a preferred vendor. Who knows what a preferred vendor is? What's a preferred vendor, Sean?
It's somebody that the insurance company has a relationship with, a financial relationship with, so they will not repair your house correctly.
The preferred vendor is going out to Fort Myers Beach to these homes and taking out 2 foot of drywall. Why is that bad, Sean?
Because the rest of your drywall is still bad.
Yes. 10-foot storm surge. What happens when you don't take out all of the drywall that's been affected?
Mold.
And what happens if you have mold?
You get sick.
Or die. Call me if you have friends, family that
Do you watch the news and stay on top of it every minute of the day? Toastmaster Dan Wallace.
Amen.
Thank you. The answer to that is no. Thank you, Dan. My preparation for the storm was when the electricity went out, I went and filled the bathtub up and a big jug of water and I went to bed and I slept through it. And woke up, it was pretty much over. Speaking of ubiquitous, Carmelo says ubiquitous because he's from Bronx.
Queens.
Whatever. I'm from Atlanta. We never use that word in Atlanta. We would have said ubiquitous, that's a big word. Just remember that.
Who do you view as a hero in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian? Toastmaster Carlos Benitez.
Hellos.
I think it's yourself, Carol.
Madam Toastmaster, thank you very much for that question. My hero. You know, we had months and months and months to prepare for this storm, knowing it was coming, the season's here, it starts off out of Africa and it's creeping along its way. Puerto Rico got hit, we were next. So what I did is, I was my own hero. I bought a big pontoon boat, put it out in front of the house. So that way, as soon as the flood levels got up, me and my family would get in and it would sail away. However, if you all look down the block, I live 1 block away, and both ends of the intersections at Cape and New England and at Denning got flooded. There's about 12 houses on our block, and 4 at the end got flooded, and 4 on this end got flooded. And so my wife and I, we got prepared and we took off to a hotel, saying, if the lights go out, electricity goes out, we're in a hotel. Well, guess what? The hotel lights went out. The day after the storm, we come back and we couldn't get in, and we're sitting right here on this corner, and as we're sitting on the corner, the tree just fell out. And so if you notice it as you go by, you see all the wood stacked up there. They had to chop it up a couple days later. But anyway, I am a hero. And
Besides water, what are some important items you stocked up on? Toastmaster Lydia Davia.
Good morning, Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Thank God we're here and we're alive.
That's right.
Things I stock up. Booze. I want to go see one. And friends. I wish I had, because all the bad news is so ubiquitous and sometimes we lose power. And I wish I had walkie-talkie. I've been trying to tell my family, let's all get walkie-talkies where we have a certain range, 10 miles, 15 miles in our proximity, where we can communicate, because to me that is one of the most important things. And still I'm waiting for that moment where we could all agree to get walkie-talkies. But everything else is stocked up on, the most important thing is love.
If you had it to do over again, would you stay in town state Toastmaster, John Ruth.
Toastmasters a guest, I would go to another state. But I want to piggyback off what Yvonne talked about, because my late mom, when Matthew came through, anybody remember Matthew?
Oh, yeah.
Matthew didn't do as much damage here as it did over Norman Beach, where we had the house that we've had in the family since my grandparents bought it in '61, the roof ripped off. And I remember my mom asking me in the fall of 2016, she said, who do you think I should go with for a roofer? The insurance company, whose name I won't say, but it rhymes with security first, said, we recommend so-and-so. And I won't say that name either, but it rhymes with Brandon James. And the handyman, who had been the handyman since 2001, had someone he recommended. And my mom said, what do you think I should do? I didn't have Yvonne here to tell me, hey, guess what? They're playing a game, preferred vendor. So I told my mom, not knowing that this preferred vendor thing was ubiquitous and that it's a total scam, and it is. I said, I guess you've had the conversations, I guess go with what your gut is. They passed away in 2018. Hurricane damage from the fixed roof started again in 2019. I fought with the insurance company for a year, lawsuit for a year. Do not go with a preferred vendor ever. It is preferred for the insurance, not for you.
Yeah.
If you were to donate to a charity regarding the devastation, who would it be? Toastmaster, Roxanne Norquist.
Well, one of the things that I will say as having a charity, and it's a food pantry, is that in the last, say, 2 months, or even especially since the storm, I have about a 35% increase in the amount of people coming in for food. And as an agency, I wanted to do something outside the box. And on Facebook, they showed pictures of their house. They lived in a bit of a trailer park, and there was water all around it, mainly elderly people. It was in New Smyrna. And I contacted him and I said, listen, check out all the elderly people living in your community and let me know how many food bags and how much food that you need. And anyway, the other day he came over and he got a big load of food baskets to hand out to the people in New Smyrna. But the reality of it is there's a very, very great need for food right now. And again, we have about a 35% increase in the amount of people coming to our agency for food. So, well, if you want to donate, you know. Central Florida Haven Pump Industries, thank you.
There you go.
Which hurricane were you most affected by? Toastmaster type pattern.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I've been here since 1980.
No.
What? Yeah. No. And I was old when I got here. But I will agree with so many of the rest of you, is that the longer you're here, the less that hurricanes affect you. From a standpoint of your emotional point of view. I really didn't even start preparing for this one until I think it was 2 days before. Because it's like Linda Miller said, you know, you kind of get used to it. And I'm from Ohio, and I always liked walking in the storm, feeling the power of nature. And it was almost as if I absorbed some of it. It was just so, and in fact, when I was younger, the home that we lived in was in a low area. And so to put our furniture up on cement blocks, 13, 15 inches deep in water, that was nothing new for me. And we didn't have a basement. So it was ubiquitous all around us, and we just had to live through it.
What is something positive that came from Hurricane Ian? Toastmaster Kathy Cavallari.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's something positive? Kathy.
Oh my God.
As you know,
YouTube, internet, electronics is ubiquitous. Okay, I'm saying it. The children, right? So the way, because I also come from South Florida, as a couple of you do too, I also didn't prepare as much with what everybody else prepares. Okay, we were lucky and blessed to not lose power, not lose internet, and none of those things. So what we did, my husband and I, we made a plan. We're gonna tell the kids that we lost internet. The hurricane made us lose the internet, so no internet, no Wi-Fi, no electronics. We had the best time. So we made the best out of this hurricane. Thank you.
Please vote for two.
Timers report.
Timers report.